Addressing the Apple haters. This is specifically to the people that use the same arguments over and over and over again that contradict each other and don't make any sense to just dummy Apple at all costs. The number one Apple hater argument is this one. Android had it first. Apple's not doing anything unique. They're not being innovative with this release. I'll tell you why that argument is ridiculous here, but the best part is the exact same people that complain about this, whenever Apple does something innovative, like removing the Touch ID for the sake of Face ID, or maybe removing the headphone jack to further incentivize Bluetooth AirPods, which most people thought were really dumb, having totally wireless headphones sticking out your ear. Nobody uses those anymore, do they? I'll almost guarantee you, the same people that complain that Apple's being not innovative enough are the same people that will complain that Apple is being too innovative and rolling out these ridiculous, silly features that nobody will ever use. To learn why this argument is so ridiculous, we're going to need to learn a little bit about product development. So buckle up here. We'll use the iPhone as an example here. So the adoption of the iPhone is absolutely insane. So many people use an iPhone. Not only do they use it, your cell phone is such a crucial, important device to you. When you're dealing with something that's that impactful to people's lives, the last thing you want to do is radically innovate and radically change things all the time. Especially if you're at the top of the market, which Apple is right now. Current iPhones, people are pretty happy with. They do well against their competitors, and there's no real reason for them to go crazy. What they should be doing when they're at this point of the product development curve is refining things and adding things that already have demand, have already been tested through other markets and other products to better improve their existing product that's already doing really well. This is tiny little things like USB-C and the action button and all these things we saw in the iPhone 15 that people were just so upset about. But the reality was the iPhone 14 was an amazing device and people weren't really left wanting for more. So why would Apple double down and go crazy on making a bunch of changes when people are already pretty happy? And they don't really have any major competitors to punch out of the top bracket. There's literally no reason for them to make any radical changes. Now, there is a time to make radical changes. That's when your competitors are beating you out in the market. Or maybe people are really getting unhappy with your devices, or there's a feature that's not rolling out. That's not where we are right now. Apple is in a good place in the market. They don't need to be doing any crazy innovation. To do that, it would be stupid. It would be ruining their current really comfortable market share that they're capturing and the devices that people are happy with. The funny thing is there's so many of these arguments, and Apple actually usually listens and fixes the problems that people complain about. Think about all the stereotypical Apple arguments that people made like 10 years ago. They're just not really true anymore. Like, remember when people were complaining about how overpriced MacBooks were for their performance, and you could pay a third of the price and get a similar spec laptop for Windows? That's not the case anymore. Apple's showing up for price to performance in the laptop space. The M2 MacBook Air, dollar for performance, for display quality, for battery life. I don't think you can beat that with a Windows machine. They're truly, truly incredible devices. Again, Apple listened to the price concerns, and now everybody just kind of forgot about that argument and didn't give them credit for fixing it. Okay, rant over. That wasn't actually targeted at anybody. I know most people are just poking fun. There is so many really good criticisms of Apple, but usually when people just come in swinging with the same stereotypical arguments, I have to have at least a little chuckle. And for a very important context, I know I seem like an Apple fanboy, but I used to be die hard Android, Windows, get every last ounce of value, fully customizable, but like through a lot of trial and error, I've just adapted into the Apple ecosystem because it just generally works so much better for what I'm looking to achieve and for integrating in my life, but I can talk about that in another video. Anyway, that was my one rant. Back to our scheduled programming. Toodles.